Okay, looks like we're live, guys. So, welcome to another Australian Collectors Chat. But this time it's without Charlie. Charlie's busy at the moment, so us guys are going to try and fit in and do as best as we can to give you something to entertain you for a little while. We know a lot of people, there's been a few people anyway on the Collectors Chat page that have been wanting more videos, and we've been all slack bastards, so it's about time we do something about it. So yeah, so we got Helmy and Rob today.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are we?
Decided to show up. So yeah, how you doing, fellas?
I'm very well, thanks.
That's good. All right, so missed a lot in these last few weeks. A lot of things to talk about, a lot of movie stuff to talk about and stuff. And I'm sure you've all had a few pieces, and now you have, Rob, and Helmy, you've had a few new pieces, haven't you? So yeah, we'll start with that then, eh? So new pieces. So any of you guys want to go first? We'll go from there.
I'll go first.
Okie dokie.
Just cause like I am in awe for the love of the Predator 2 maquette. Okay, I have it, and I don't know what people are going on about it like being amazing and stuff like that. Here's the thing: if you have the Predator 2 hot toy, and you know that I'm not a big fan of dolls. Ryan knows I'm not a big fan of dolls. Okay. But I gotta say, the Predator 2 hot toy is so much better. Here's the thing: you get metal blades and stuff like that. A 1/6 scale doll has metal blades, okay? And that 1/6 scale doll was like what, 1/10 the price I probably paid for my maquette. 1/10 metal blades, much better paint app, way better paint app, okay? And everything about it is really amazing. I love the Predator 2 hot toy. And even talking about the new one, even the old one's really good. So I'm just disappointed. I paid over $2,000 for a statue. Yeah, over 2,000. I broke my rule.
Paid over $2,000. Helmy, stop there. Did you get on the 20% off coupon?
No, I did not. And that's the thing that pissed me off even more. I'm like, what the fuck, bitch? What the fuck? First of all, I ordered the Predator 2 maquette day one, okay? And then they canceled it, okay? So I had to pay more in exchange rates and shit like that. So I lost money on that shit. So I paid, and then the second time I got a pre-order. I pre-ordered it like I think the first week or something like that because I was really busy and stuff like that. So both times I pre-ordered really early, okay? And what the fuck happened? On the day they started shipping it out, people were getting 20% off. What the fuck, bitch? And they were saying like, oh, no, my favorite part was, okay, sometimes you get discounts that other people don't get. Fuck that, bitch. I never got a 20% discount. What the shit? I never got 20%. We're not even talking about an old statue, okay? This is a statue that's just being released, and I never got a 20% off for old statue, let alone a new statue, okay? 20% off for a statue that expensive. What the fuck? Even back then.
And they did it the weekend after it was shipped out to people who paid. The weekend. They didn't even wait a week. Not a month. Not 6 months. What was it, 3 or 4 days?
Yeah.
And then you get 20% off.
Here's the thing, right? Like even a lot of their older shit don't get 20% off.
No.
It's a huge discount, okay? What the fuck? And the thing that really annoys me, like I'm okay with I'm certain they were not going to give it to the loyal, faithful fans who pre-ordered it on day one. I expected that, okay? But they gave that line saying something along the lines of you probably got a discount that some other people didn't get. I never got a 20% off discount. I didn't even get a 15% off discount. What the fuck? What the fuck? And this is for a new statue, okay?
Yeah, it's not good. You know, I saw Xenomorph's video.
And here's the thing, most of the time you don't get discounts for exclusives, okay? You'll get discounts for the regulars, but not the exclusive. And especially not for a statue that high profile. Because let's face it, Predator and Alien franchise have always been popular, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, enough renting. I'm sorry to go on and on, but I was just pissed. Like 20% off, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and I was day one, man, day one, and this is the shit I get.
I mean, I saw Xenomorph's video for it. It was a very interesting video. He was showing it. He was completely honest. I think that's what I love about Xenomorph. He's always honest. No bullshit. It's just, you know, says it how it is. And he put his Hot Toys Predator next to his maquette. And like you say, there's just a difference in quality entirely, isn't there? You know, there's a quality difference.
And here's the thing, you know, I don't like to give Hot Toys too much credit, you know, because they're really great as it is. So I don't like to give them too much credit, but I have to give credit where credit is due. A $200 doll, okay, is better than the $2,000 statue that I have. I'm serious, man. Like, I'm just pissed. I'm just disappointed. I think everyone who is saying really good things about it has not really seen or have the Predator 2 Hot Toy in their collection, because if they did, they can see the paint quality is amazing. It's not flat at all. It is this little bit of sheen that kind of looks like it's slime a bit, like, you know, it's not completely flat. So it looks really good like that. The eyes are amazing, and yes, the paint job definitely not flat at all. And metal weapons. I mean, come on, guys. And here's the thing that really irks me as well. What was that? There was less than half the price. The new Wolverine statue. Okay, the new Wolverine statue, which is less than half the price, is going to have metal parts.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
how do they justify that? You know, how do they justify that though? You know, you pay all that money, give you half-assed parts, and then you buy something like you say for nearly half the price, and you know, people, you know, they'll shove bloody metal in it, you know. So.
All right, but you know what? I'm gonna give them a chance to make up for it, because here's the thing. My piece came damaged.
Did it?
Yeah, it did come damaged, you know, as usual. Australia Post. So even the book. Sorry.
What was damaged? Like, what part of the statue was damaged?
The cannon and the dreads, and I just noticed on the body itself. I think there's some casting issues. There looks like a bit of cracks. I'm not sure. So I already sent an email to Sideshow, so hopefully they will look up for me. I know I complain about them, but you know what? Hopefully their quality, their customer service, will help me out. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you guys posted. You know, Sideshow has always been okay with me when it comes to customer service. So we'll see how it goes. And here's the thing, none of my Hot Toys has ever had, you know, like a paint blob that, you know, is not supposed to be there. I'll give you this. Here's the thing. Most of my new statues, or most of my Sideshow statues, have always had issues. Remember how I say there's jizz on my statues? Okay, so it's always an extra bit of like glue somewhere on the statue. So or it's either glue, it's either jizz, or a small bit of paint that's not supposed to be there. So they're probably painting it and they accidentally dropped a drop of paint. So on my spear, there's a couple of black spots of paint. Happens to me almost every time with Sideshow statues, and you don't get that, or at least I haven't gotten that with Hot Toys at all. So I'll give you, you know, the doll company another prop. You know, when it comes to quality control, I think they're doing pretty awesome as compared to Sideshow. So that's about it. That's for me for Predator 2. A pretty big disappointment, and I don't know.
Epic.
Yeah, Like I say, I just think I agree with you after seeing that video, Helmy. The paint application on it is pretty flat, and all those claws. I know what you're saying now about them not being real metal and looking bad. I mean, they stood out. You know, you looked at that and it was like the fucking like Toys R Us Wolverine claws you get for like on the friggin' toys and that. You know what I mean? It looked like that to me.
It was like that. It was like that. Oh yeah, one more thing. Okay, the freaking Hot Toy could have, I think it was the Elder Predator, could have quills. Okay, a 1/6 scale doll. The original, has quills on it. Okay, I don't understand how a 1/6 scale doll at like what $200+ could have quills, but a $2,000 statue, in Aussie or in Australian dollars anyway, does not have quills. You know, and the shape of the helmet, I thought it was just the pictures, but when it turned out, I was definitely not happy about the shape of the helmet. It was definitely wrong. It was way too long. Overall, I'm just disappointed. And even the base, the paint app for the base is very, very flat. And I thought he was going to look good next to my She Predator. Nah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too spoiled by Sideshow at their prime. Because Sideshow at their prime is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay? So maybe I've been too spoiled by that. So maybe I'm expecting too much, but I'm just disappointed. And I think the quality of statues and collectibles nowadays are so high. For example, you know, Hot Toys is amazing, Entebbe is amazing, Prime One, all of them are amazing. Okay, and then you get Sideshow where you have a lot of misses as well. You know.
Yeah.
I'm just disappointed by the misses, man. I'm just disappointed by the misses.
So what are you going to do with it, Helmy? Are you going to get rid of it, or are you going to keep it? Yeah, sorry if I missed earlier.
I think, I don't know. I'm trying to return it, and because you know there's broken pieces and all that. I'm not gonna keep a broken piece, no matter how much credit you give me. No, if it's broken, it's broken. I don't care how much credit you're gonna give me. I want to send it back. So hopefully, Sideshow will look out for me. If they do, huge thumbs up. We'll see how it goes. I'll let you guys know how it goes as well. And if they refuse to do that, oh man, that's bad. But even if they did, looks like it's sold out. Even the regular is sold out. So I might just sell it.
I recommend doing it in batches. They probably sold 300 regs and then just threw it up on wait lists to stop people from using that coupon or their points or whatever. Or maybe they're just doing it in batches. It seems to be the way they're doing things now. The Batgirl is back up for pre-order. The Power Girl will be up for ages. The Batman, the original grey, black and grey, and the Superman, they supposedly were sold out, but they've come back up on wait lists because they're doing another batch of those. It's another sneaky little tactic that Sideshow used to sort of get people to buy in the moment, throw it up as sold out, then suddenly, a month later, oh, no, it's back on wait list. Get yours right now before it really does sell out.
That's it, yeah. The crafty buggers now. I mean, like say back a while back, you bought your edition size and that was it, Now, like I say, with it, I think that's the problem with them now. They're used to making for smaller batches, and when they've gone bigger, they can't handle it. They don't have the process or the management in place to get the right quality out of their figures. I mean, even with Hot Toys and certain things, now you see certain things coming out like the dents in the figures and things like that, and sometimes as well, certain figures they don't bother with the same. It's like I was showing Helmy a couple of weeks ago the Hot Toys Michael Keaton Bruce Wayne figure. It was an absolute piece of shit, that head sculpt. It's a disgrace. I mean, I can't believe Hot Toys sculpted that. I mean, you can roughly tell who they've gone for, but it's not Keaton.
It's not. Honestly, I don't think it was that bad.
Well, if you go and look at the Ace Toys one that they did, called Ace Toys, that one absolutely leaves it for dead. I mean, the paint application on the head sculpt's great, and that obviously with Hot Toys they've got that down pat, but the sculpt, unfortunately for me, is just not there.
Yeah, coming back to the batches for a second, just one more thing I'll add is, when Sideshow make these things in batches, if they've got like an ES of 2,500 but they're producing 500 a go, what's happened with the Stormtrooper PF? The first run of the Stormtrooper PF was all white, like it was an ivory white. The second run that they did on that was like an off yellow. It turned out to be an off yellow. So everyone now is trying to go back and buy one of those Stormtrooper PFs from that first batch because the colour is the proper colour. Everything from the second batch is now you've got this slight yellow tinge to the paint apps on it. So, even across the batches of what should be a sort of singular ES, the ball's being dropped here and there. That's not to say it happens on every statue that they do like that, but you got to be careful now because you don't know if you're buying later. I mean, another one is the Lobo. That's that the reg on that I think is back up for pre-order or wait list, and again that's going to be another batch of them. But is it going to be up to the quality of the original batch? I mean, who knows? We'll find out eventually.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. To see how that one turns out because it's quite a popular piece that as well. And a lot of people after that came out, people have been searching all over for it, haven't they?
Yeah.
So they better not screw that up because they're happy with that. Especially what they, like you say, the first time round, they knocked it out of the park.
Comes out perfect, and then you get the next batch, and it's full of QC problems. It's what's going on here, kind of thing.
Step back.
Up to their usual tricks.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, if you want me to be truthfully honest, out of all the statue companies, if I would to say any of them that I think are pushing the envelope or delivering pieces of licenses that you want and that haven't been done, or just the overall quality of them is excellent, I'd have to say Chronicle and Prime One. I think those two companies, and Blitzway. Blitzway are doing fantastic stuff. I mean, that Madeline Monroe and the Rocky that you guys have got on order just looks fantastic.
Right.
I give credit where it's due, and that is top notch. And the Prime One stuff is too. My only problem with that is how bloody big and expensive they are. So, if I had one, I'd have one, and that'd be it. I wouldn't be like these guys on these boards. I'll have 7. Yeah, I'll have 7 of each tank. You're like, how the fuck do you afford all this? But I mean, like I say, Chronicle, really good. They're doing some good stuff. I know, like I say, Charlie, spoke to Paul, I think it is, isn't it, the head of Chronicle, and he was interested to hear what he had to say, of all the new licenses coming out. But the Jurassic Park stuff they seem to be doing is really cool, and it's nice to see somebody doing Jurassic Park, especially the life size. Not life size, sorry. The what scale is it, Helmy? The T-Rex bus that they're doing.
I think it's 1/5.
It's 1/6.
1/5.
1/5. Okay.
I think it's 1/5 scale.
Okay. I really like that. Really like that. I thought that was a really clever idea how they did that. You could almost have it mounted on your wall and the heads. I mean, I thought that was quite clever, and I really like even though obviously the scale for some people would put them off. I like that the T1 Arnold bus that they did, the 1/3 scale, is it?
Is that the half scale one?
Is it half scale? Yeah, it might be half scale. Then the one where he's just he's supposed to be where he first appears on the screen, and that one's a nice piece. And then also their Genesis one is nice as well, that they've done. So a lot of the pieces you're looking forward to. I mean, like you said, Rob, the other day, a lot of them aren't sideshow anymore.
Yeah, well, it's, like we were talking about the other day. I've got a ton of pre-orders coming up for 2016, and only one of them is sideshow. I've got maybe about 10, 12 pre-orders, and only one is sideshow for me for the rest of the year. So that, that says where my money's going.
That's it. But you go where the quality is. They screw you over. You go elsewhere, like anything.
And the pieces, things. What I think is really telling is stuff like the Red Sonja from Comic-Con last year that everyone went crazy over. Everyone's, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. The X on that. Here we are. What is it? Maybe 7 months later. 6 months later, that thing, the X on it is still not sold out, and it's only 1,500.
Do you know why? Do you know why? This shit is not sold out.
Because it's too much. It's too much, and people don't know what they're gonna get.
No. Look at the motherfucking price. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's too much, and people don't know what they're gonna get.
How much was Apocalypse? I can't remember how much I paid for Apocalypse. Like slightly more than that. Fucking Apocalypse, which is so massive. Apocalypse is so massive. Yeah, it's huge, right? And it's
it was 600.
Yeah, it's slightly more. What the fuck?
I think
you don't know what you're going to get out of the box, do you? I mean, the first Red Sonja they did turned out, the paint apps on that were pretty poor. So people are then they're sort of,
It'll be interesting to see, because the base was a big seller on that Red Sonja, how they had the detail of the coming out, and now if anything is off on the final product, it'll be that. That'll be the biggest difference, if there is any. And that's the thing with the Red Sonja. They've done it that well. If you screw it up, they'll notice. I think a lot of people will. That's brilliant, Helmet. That is awesome, man. Figure of the year, mate. Figure of the year. Screw Hot Toys, they figure of the year, mate.
Exactly, man.
Look at that. It looks the likeness is just spot
on. Can't be topped.
Yeah. Fuck me.
This is my first Mondo order. I mean, I have a few Mondo posters and stuff like that. But I don't think I've ever ordered from them directly. Only from the aftermarket. So this is my first time. Let's see how it is.
Ryan, here's our live unboxing.
Yeah. Live unboxing. You need to be careful.
I don't think there's been an unboxing of this figure yet on YouTube, so I'm doing it on
especially by Jason Voorhees either. I think that'll be unique.
Man, this thing is tight.
It's well packaged. Alright, so I'll have to get
get your mind out of the gutter, Ryan. I was saying this is tight.
Yeah.
Jeez, you horny little bitch.
Oh, got it out. It's gone. Oh, have you?
God damn it.
You can't get it out. It's stuck.
It's too big. Around and throw a tantrum in a second.
Okay. There you go. Okay.
Have you gone through your pickups, Ryan?
New pickups.
Check this out.
Yeah. Oh, so let's have a look at this first, and I'll show me pickups.
Alright, the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Look at that. It's fucking godlike.
Okay, this is the money shot because I know Ryan is into shit like that.
Elmy, just put it next. You need to take a picture next to maquette Predator and we're just like, see, Sideshow, this is the quality you should have. Off of that shit.
Look at how clean it is, man. That is clean, man. That is clean.
Is it heavy? Is it a heavy piece or is it quite light?
I think it's solid plastic, as in like, you know, it's not your vinyl kind of hollow or whatever. Feels solid. Paint app is very clean. You know, they can actually paint in the lines, unlike some other company. You know, in the lines. So really impressed. I can't remember how much I paid for it. It was quite a long time back, but pretty happy with it. And yeah, I think it's sold out by now. I'm not sure, but yeah, it looks really good.
So they're doing all the others as well to go with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but they did release the normal version of the figures, and those are completely sold out. I think those were sold really, really fast. They were 1/6 scale, but they feel a little bit bigger than 1/6. They were pretty big. And they released the whole series, and it was sold really, really fast. I thought they were really, really cool. It'll look really cool when you have all of them set up, I guess. But this is basically how the original Turtle looks like.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's almost done like it's been drawn, hasn't it? Like even the figure itself looks like a drawing.
I think that was a point. Yeah, I think that was a point. So I like it.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. But, yeah. What do you think of the? I forgot who did them. Who's the company? Was it Prime One or was it somebody else? Yeah, that did those Turtles, the movie ones.
I know a lot of people were raving about them. I've seen them in person, and I think they look okay. I just wish that they did it with mixed media, because you know, like the cloth and all that. I don't know. Yeah. It was made of plastic, and I knew it was plastic, so I just kind of wish it was, you know, mixed media. I think if they had done it in mixed media format, wow, holy shit, on a whole another level.
Yeah. Yeah, they look nice on the pictures I saw, and I think I saw a few reviews online for them, and they looked pretty impressive. It's just I know a lot of people didn't buy them because it was the movie, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's shit, the film," so they won't buy the figure or whatever, you know. But yeah. So do you want me to show you my pickups now then?
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Which dolls do you get?
Oh well, a few. Alright. Well, I don't know if you've seen this one, Helm. I don't know if I showed it in the pictures or anything.
Yeah, I have that one. I have it displayed with a huge bomb. I like it.
Yeah. I picked it up the other day. Couldn't resist. I was like, I need it. And
that's what you got to get to go with it, Ryan.
Is that it? Is that the right?
Shit, that's a huge set.
That's the small set. That's the small. There's the bigger one that comes with a little car, and you press the button on the side, and it plays the theme music. This is one I was telling you about the other night. It's I got all the 3 seasons and the booklet in there from Amazon Italy. It's for Blu-ray, all been remastered. Looks fantastic. For about $50 Australian, the whole thing. So if anyone's looking for it, Amazon Italy. That's where you get it from, nice and cheap.
Right, have a look on there, and I'll keep a lookout for it.
Hold on, I just remember one last thing. Ryan, you're a gamer, right? I got this when I was in Singapore for like $5. I couldn't say no. It was just $5, so I had to get it.
Let's see it. What the fuck is that?
You call yourself a gamer, and you don't know what the fuck this shit is.
I'm trying to fix it together now. What?
Wow! You call yourself a gamer, man.
What game is it from?
Man, if I say, you're gonna kick yourself in the butt, because this is a huge franchise, okay? Like, this is like the franchise in Japan.
Okay, just tell me what it is.
Dragon Quest.
I don't play fucking Dragon Quest, that shit.
Yeah, but at least you should fucking know, right? Call yourself a gamer. That's like saying, hey, I love games, but I don't know who the fuck Mario is. Fuck you. I'm sorry. I'm just like, come on, there are levels, okay? You call yourself a gamer, you should know the basics, okay? Dragon Quest was the game in Japan which people cut school for, okay?
Right. Okay.
It was that huge, okay?
So I should know that, right?
Fuck yeah, it's like you should know Mario, you should know Zelda, and you should fucking know. I hope you know this, right? You know Zelda is the fucking princess, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know Zelda's the princess. It's Link, isn't it, the fucking character?
Yes. If you say Zelda is princess, do not call yourself a gamer. If you call if Zelda is Link, if you think that was the case, shit, you don't call yourself a gamer. That's all I gotta say.
I knew that already. Don't you worry. I just don't play that homosexual Dragon Quest.
No, please, if you call yourself a gamer, you gotta know about Dragon Quest, man.
Oh, down. Hang on. So, trying to go back in.
Drop it, live dropping.
How dare you wish that on me, you bastard. Yeah, got me, obviously, Rob's seen the video of this, and he's finally got the corner scale, got it for a good deal. Helmy, like I say, recommendation from you, you fucking boss. And finally having now to sort of go in my corner scale range, so that's nice. I'm very happy with him. I haven't done a great deal with him yet, though. Not a lot of posing yet, which I should. I think I might have him with the card or whatever, you know, like holding the, you know, as he does in the film, like when he holds the card up. Yeah. I think I might have him like that, but for now he's just in this basic sort of holding the Glock, I don't know what the fuck the gun is, and the mask from the bank robber scene. So yeah, but I'll get round to putting him in some cool poses, and I'll probably do some vids for him as well. So. Yeah, and then on top of that as well, we talked about it last night. Me and Rob, I think it may be on Rob's wish list now. I think you said, didn't you, Rob, last night when I showed you? The Entebbe T1000. I got that for Christmas.
Those are magnets, right?
Yes, yeah, the entire chest is one big plate, like magnetic plate, so you can just like pull that off like that, and then you pop it back on like that. So yeah, so I got him in that sort of pose, sort of like with his finger, you know, like and then I've got him with that behind his back like that.
That's the fuck you finger, isn't it?
It is. It is. But yeah, no, I'm very happy with him. And he goes with Arnold very nicely. And yeah, we still got to get Charlie to get that Entebbe Arnold, haven't we? Tell me. It's Can you hear me, you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, just double checking.
Yeah, and I agree that
we're enthralled, entranced.
If there was one doll that Alex and Charlie should have, is the Entebbe to Terminator to Battle Damage Ani. For sure, man. Yeah. That is the doll to have. That is definitely the doll to have.
Not dolls, Helmy. But there's a fucking thing go. Come on, there we are. Get on, you bastard. Right. Get me fucking place. Right. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then other than that, it's just the bust, which you've already seen, haven't you? You were there, Helmy, weren't you, the other week when I had that? Were you?
The Batman bust.
Yeah, the Dark Knight one.
Yeah.
But
Man, you know what? I'm just thinking out loud, and I'm sorry to say this, but I'm just thinking out loud, man. If I was a chick or if I was Alex, either one is about the same. No, I'm kidding. If I was a chick and I came over to Ryan's crib and I'd be like, shit.
what as in shit? As in shit collection or shit?
As in like shit, man. She'll probably be thinking, man. I hope he'll let me be the Talia al Ghul to his Batman.
Oh, like how you did that there. Nice.
Yeah, I know my Batman shit. I know my Batman stories.
Very smooth.
Oh god.
You're a smooth operator, Helmy. Very smooth.
Yeah, like I said, you're like Singaporean Snoop Dogg.
Shut up, man. I'm not as smooth as Ryan, man. Shit. Just the other day, I think it was his birthday or something like that. I can't remember, but there were a ton of pictures from his Facebook, and I was like seeing all these ladies. I'm like, shit. Ryan's got it in, man. He's the pimp, alright? He plays off like he don't know shit, like he's a collector, he's a geek. Geek my ass, man. Geeks don't get chicks like that in their crib. Shit.
In my crib. No.
Shit. But, you can't even pay a girl to come, like, dude, like, come on, I'm telling you, he got skills, man. Ryan got mad skills, man. And he's not sharing, man. What's up, Ryan? You should be sharing, man. What the hell?
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Helmy. Thank you for this. Yeah.
No, I don't know, man. I don't know if you have him on your Facebook, but you just check out his profile, man. I'm like, shit, this guy got serious skills, man. That's all I gotta say. Serious skills. I don't know what he tells the ladies. Hopefully he doesn't pay them, but to be at this party and shit like that.
Mad West Australian pimp.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful pimp.
Yeah. Like, hey, hold on. When I come over to Pearl, you better like hook the brother up, man.
Okay. Well, you'll be disappointed, but alright, you can keep dreaming.
Man. Alright, so anyways, you're gonna say something else about another collectible just now?
Oh, I was just saying, other than that really, I've just got the bus from the Dark Knight, and I think the next collectible I'll be getting probably will be like the Arkham City Batman from Hot Toys. I've decided that I might pick him up, even though the
Ryan, I just want to stop you right there because I've seen the statue. Okay. Gonna give you.
About the Sideshow one.
Yeah. I know the quarter scale statue, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm gonna give you my honest thoughts about it. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
I see it in person, and honestly, I don't know. I think you should just save up your money and get the Prime one.
Prime one, yeah.
Like, wait, hold on. Are you going to get the Prime one for sure?
I don't know. I wouldn't say for sure.
Okay. Here's the thing. Save your money, alright, and get the Prime one.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I like the Sideshow one. I think it's a nice piece. I think it's well put together.
Yeah, I've seen that one as well in person. It's okay. There's one thing I hate about it: the way the head and the part of the neck and shoulders sits over the cape. It just looks weird. It looks odd, man.
Okay. Yeah,
see it in person before you put your money down.
Yeah.
here's the thing, Ryan. I got a lot mad respect for your collection, and I know you love Batman. And as a friend, I'm telling you, put that money towards the Prime One, okay? I've seen the look. I've not seen the Prime One in person, okay? But just looking at the statue, come on, you gotta admit, just looking at both statues next to each other, you gotta admit the Prime One looks amazing, okay?
Oh, of course, there's no disputing that at all. The Prime One, like I said, they are pumping out some pretty impressive stuff. Almost too many, too many to keep up with.
I know, but you trust me, man. Just get the Prime One. Save your money, really, seriously, save your money.
Here, there you go. Then this will keep me motivated towards the Prime One. Do you know, Helmy, because they're doing the Arkham Origins line, yeah? And I think I've told you in the past that that's my favourite Batman line.
Yeah.
Now they've done the Noel Batman from that, but are they going to do? Because I've seen like 3D prototype sort of shots online of the normal suit from Arkham Origins, like the standard suit that he has. So I'm wondering, are they actually going to make that suit? Because it's quite odd that they've gone and done the Noel first, which is a skin, obviously. In the game, it's not the actual official suit, instead of the main suit. So are they actually doing the new suit? That's what I want to know. Do you know that at all?
Can you send me some pictures so we can have a look?
Yeah. Alright, try and find some pics now. I'll send some to you. Just be quick because I know you're better at this than me. Prime One Batman Arkham Origins. But yeah, it was just strange because they did the Noel, and the Noel looks great. Don't get me wrong, like I think it looks fantastic, and so does the Deathstroke. Man, if I could get both of them, I'd get both of them. But it was just a thing I've always had. You know, the Arkham Knight, they did the Arkham Knight Batman. You know, the armored one, the one that you play as in the game most of the time.
I can't remember, man. I need pictures, man.
Okay, what I'll do, I've got this one here. If it loads. There we go. So you've got this one. And oh, here it is. This is the one that they said. Ah, here it is. The picture. The picture I was looking for.
You sent it to me.
And I'll also. It's interesting because they're, like I say, they look like 3D digital sculpts of the statue. They're just showing the head, like head and shoulders. I'll send you the pics now. Get your thoughts on it. So I've just given you 3 different ones, and also I'll send you a pic of the Noel Batman. You probably know what the Noel looks like on here. So if you, like say, do the screen share so people can see as well.
Man, you know what? I love the last one, and honestly, I think it's just going to be switch outs. Honestly,
you think? Well,
I think I won't be surprised if that's the case. It's just going to be switch outs, man. So just go for that, dude. You know what? That Batman, the Noel Batman, that looks epic, man. That is the Batman to have. Like, I would take that over the Sideshow one anytime, any day. Hands down.
Do you know what you'll be getting him in at all?
Sorry, what?
You know, if Pop Culture will be getting that one in.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope so. I hope so. Or else you're gonna have to pay duties and tax, and that shit's awesome. I love duties and tax.
Yeah. Hang on. I'll just get on the pictures I sent. Just find them here. Okay. Find the pic of the Batman I'm talking about. Just so Rob can see as well.
No, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, it's got the. Hang on, this is the screen share.
Oh, they're serious pieces. Mad looking pieces. But man, 1/3 scale. Jesus, where the hell do you put that? Oh.
Okay. So you've got the screen share on now. And I'll find the pic. This one here. See this? Do you see that one, guys? There, what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one. It's also the one that I've got at the top of my shelf as well in NECA form. That is the one that I want them to do. But for some reason, like I said, they've got that one, and the only reason it makes me wonder, are they doing multiple, is because they've done that one, obviously the Noel, which is that one there, and then you notice they're doing the thermal like exo sort of suit, which was the one he used in the DLC for taking on Mr. Freeze. They're doing that one as well, according to this. So I'm just wondering, you know, what they're doing with all that, and if they are all officially, you know, being said to come out, you know. So that. Okay, has that stopped screen sharing now?
Yeah, man, it's weird to see myself again and again.
There we are. So that stopped screen sharing.
Okay.
So that's basically it, though. Anyway, that Batman is the one that I want if they do it, you know. But we haven't seen anything for it, so.
Hey, what about you might be getting quarter scale from them? Yeah, I've had that supposed announcement that they're doing DC and Marvel quarter scale pieces, so
Ooh.
Who knows?
Oh man, you know what? I don't know what to think about that.
It's going to be a pain in the arse. I mean, I hope in some ways they differ from the big ones, because the people who have just bought the big ones have paid expensive prices for a bigger one that can only have a limited amount in. And yes, will look great, but if you can get something in quarter scale at the same quality and lower price, people will probably go for the quarter scale. You know.
Man, you know what? I hope they do statues which have not been released yet. For example, especially for the DC line, I still can't believe Sideshow has not released this statue yet, and that is not Darkseid, Doomsday. Freaking Doomsday, man! Give me Doomsday, man! I just want Doomsday. Shit, man! They just do but man.
Yeah.
Well, they'll get around to it in 2035.
Whoa, bro, you give them way too much credit. 2035, that's too early, man.
Okay, 2050. How about that?
2050 sounds about right. You know, that's about when the new batch of reuse are gonna come up from Pop Culture Shop as well. I heard.
That's right. Yes.
Pop Culture Shop. Oh, you know what? You went around for this, so you were
Who is crazy enough to order from them? Oh,
me, I did, unfortunately.
No, you're gonna either have grey hair or no hair before you get whatever from them.
I don't really have that much hair right now as well. Rob, I don't know if you were around for this, but you've probably been collecting as long as me, or probably even longer. When Sideshow first announced, too long. When Sideshow first announced the DC line, were you collecting that?
Yeah.
Dude, okay, you know what, Ryan? You should have seen the interwebs, man. You should have seen, it was blowing up. People were going crazy, man. I missed the day when Sideshow managed to do that, where they just, they announced something, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? You know, or you know, the 12 days of horror, where it's not 12 days of competitions or lucky draws. What's the story about fucking lucky draw, man? I don't get it. Like, I don't know. But yeah, man, back in the day, Sideshow shit.
Yeah.
was a bomb.
Yeah. What's changed now, especially with them getting bigger and stuff. The ES is going up, and
I mean, here's the thing. This is from a company that produced Doom on Throne. And here's the thing. That thing is hard. I'll straight up, I probably can never afford it. I'll probably never have it in my collection until, some guy pissed off his girlfriend and his girlfriend sold it for cheap. And shit like that happens. Probably not going to have it, right? And I've seen it in person. It's amazing. How did they go from that amazing, beautiful piece back when it was so hard to make such pieces to the Doom that they have now? Because now they would have the capability, they would have the people and technology to make it leagues better. Instead, we got the Doom that we have right now as opposed to the Doom that was out 15 years ago. I don't get it.
I'll tell you how. Because the Sideshow, this is the mistake people make. The Sideshow that we have today is not the company that existed back when that Doom came out, or the OG Hulk, or the Cap, or any of those classic pieces. It's a totally different company.
Yeah.
It's like saying George Lucas in 1990. They're two different people, two totally different people, and that's why you get one film, A New Hope, which is so great, and The Phantom Menace, which is so bad. And Sideshow's the same thing. It's two different companies, same name, but it's not the same company. It's, XM is probably more akin to what Sideshow was when they were releasing those Grail pieces, those early pieces.
Amen. I agree.
Like any company is in danger of going that way. They've just got to maintain that quality. It's like with Hot Toys. Their quality is pretty darn good as a general rule. But even lately, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of their stuff now, since the ES has gone up, there's a few things that are coming damaged in the box, which is, you'd know Helmy from collecting Hot Toys. It's not often you get that sort of shit happening. They're always very well packaged, but people have been getting that. It's like with the 1994 or Batman Returns Batman Hot Toys figures. Some people have been getting like a dent in the chest armor, and everyone that's got it has got it in that same spot. So they're wondering if it's some sort of factory issue, or something like that. And then the same with the Han Solo as well. Some people's Han Solo figures have had their heads pressed in at the top, so that's your head sculpt, damaged. And there's been a few things, but they do a lot better than Sideshow. There's no doubt about that. I think everybody does better than Sideshow at the moment. They're fucking useless at the moment.
And what's the piece I'm quite excited from Sideshow this year, and this says a lot because Alex is probably going to hate me for this, but the statue that's going to be released this year that I'm excited about is the Red Sun Batman.
Yeah, I know what you're saying there. Yeah, because I think I'll be honest, and I don't know whether you guys agree with me on this or not, but this is how I stand the statues. You get the odd occasion when they nail it, but as in when it comes to movie pieces, but I think statues shine the most when they're not based off something real. They're based off art. They're just allowed to go nuts.
Oh yeah.
I think that's really the case, except for, I think, from what I've seen anyway, from horror. Horror pieces, Sideshow seems to be doing it pretty well. But, anything that's more human, like actual humans,
yes.
I'm not feeling it at all. But yeah, the comic book stuff is good. The horror line has always been good. So I'm excited to see what they do with the Batman Red Sun. Are you going to get him? Because he's Batman after all, but are you going to get him, Ryan?
Which Batman, sorry?
The Red Sun one.
The Red Sun? I'm not sure. How much is he? How much is he going for?
I think he's going for much cheaper. And wait, so let me check. Wait, some Batman set, Joe. I'm
Are you
guessing.
getting all three of them, Helmy?
Nah, I think I'm just gonna go for Batman. I think. Okay. Ryan, it says here, and there's no exclusive, so that's good. 489.
Okay.
Yeah, I think honestly, Ryan, I think you should get him just cause he will really stand out in your Batman collection. Like you could see like all the different variations, and
Yeah.
Between him and the Batman you were thinking of getting, the Batman from the game. Arkham, what was it? Arkham
Asylum, yeah.
Asylum, yeah, dude. This one will stand out way more. Like in your collection, this will be a way better piece to complement your collection than that one. I guarantee you.
One thing as well I like about the Batman from the Red Sun, as to more so than the Superman and Wonder Woman, is the fact that they changed the pose up quite a bit, didn't they? He's sort of more, than he's a little bit more action posy than he's not like one leg up or anything like that. So that is, I think, a plus for the figure, and I do agree with you, Helmy. I know Alex doesn't like it, but I do agree with you on that. I think it is a very nice piece, and it's one that I'll keep an eye on.
And I think it will stand out more in your collection, man. For real, I think it will definitely stand out more.
With it, it's a very unique Batman as well, isn't it? So I remember like, what the fuck's that?
Yeah. Let me see the ES 1000. That's pretty small.
I reckon it's way large for a piece like that. A very niche piece. Yeah,
but I could be wrong, but it looks like it's cloth, like the tailoring and all that stuff. It doesn't look. Let me see. Costume. Yeah, it's fabric. It's all fabric. It looks good. I love. Me. I love my mixed media, man. That looks good, man.
Yeah. No, I do agree with you there. The Red Suns, out of all of the new ones, I think it's one of the nicer ones. I mean, the blue one looks nice.
Man. I like that.
Are you getting that helmet? Are you getting that figure?
Honestly, I'm very, very fucking tempted to get it. But we'll see how it goes because money's tight. I just moved to a new place, so money's tight. But we'll see how it goes. And especially because they announced the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm a huge Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so if they're gonna release Leatherface, dude, that's like not even day one. That is like minute one order for me. Okay, I highly, highly doubt they're gonna mess it up. I'm pretty confident they're gonna pull it off, especially with the team bases, just like Jason. You're gonna have the same thing. I'm gonna get it day one. That's it. I don't even need to look at the picture. They put a pre-order up. I don't need to look. I'm pretty confident I'm gonna get it. So pretty excited for that one. We'll see how it goes. But I think of all the Batmans that I will have in my collection, it will probably be the blue one, the 90s comic Batman, and this one. But if I had to pick, I'm leaning towards the Red Sun just because it's so unique, and I guarantee that when people come over, they'll be like, "What the fuck is this shit?" It'll be a good conversational piece, and the best part is it's a good conversational piece for one of the best stories ever written in comic book history. So
yeah,
tempted, man, tempted. I'm very tempted. I don't care what Alex says, you can bitch about it, but
yeah, it's like I say, I agree. It's a nice piece. I'd be interested to see if it sells out because there's been an over saturation of Batman at the moment, especially with the new film coming out. There's a lot of Batman around, so I don't know how people are going to take it. Some people are like with the sort of the Hot Toys Batman v Superman stuff. I don't know if you've seen some of that already. A lot of people are like, oh, not another Batman, Batman, and then some people are obviously like me, who are like, yay, more Batman. But there are some that like sort of like the Iron Man syndrome, where they just sort of get sick and tired of having Batman all the time.
Just get pumped out, pumped out, pumped out. Yeah. There's only so much juice in the lemon, you know, and then once it's all squeezed, it's no good anymore.
I mean, that's like Avengers. Marvel with Hot Toys. I mean, I don't know if you remember, Helmy. There was a time where you had to get in early to pick them up, didn't you? You know, if you didn't get in early, you missed out, like the Hawkeye figure. But now everybody's trying to get rid of them. They're trying to shift them now for the Star Wars stuff. So
because that second film was so bad.
Honestly, I don't think it was that bad. It wasn't.
Oh man, it was fucking terrible. It was terrible.
It wasn't fucking terrible. It wasn't great.
It was. Man, I was on a flight coming back from Asia, and I was on the thing. I stuck it on, and I got through half an hour, and I just had to turn it off. It was just so bad.
Yeah, wait, you watched it on a plane screen. You can't watch that shit on a plane screen.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
In my opinion of it is, it wasn't a terrible film, but in the same sense of what Rob is saying, it certainly wasn't.
It's got all the same problems. I'm going to probably piss you off here, Ryan. It's got all the same problems Dark Knight Rises has. You had too much money, the thing's overwritten, there's too many characters, there's too many plots, and it all just ends up a big blancmange and a mess. It's just...
I think... I mean, I agree with you on the points about Dark Knight Rises, but I think Dark Knight Rises for me was a better film than Age of Ultron.
Oh, definitely better, but it still had its fair share of issues.
Good moments, I'd say, but yeah. I mean, I think you know what bugged me the most about that film, and I know some people it may not bug, but was the vision. He was like. In the Marvel films, they've always had like this wacky thing about them, but they've almost been in a way you believe them. You know what I mean? You think, oh, that could be real, or they make you believe in the characters. But the Vision, he's like that fine line between a bit more grounded
and just whatever the top.
Yeah, he looks like a fucking I don't know what he looks like. He's like one of those gay Japanese robots with a cape. He's like Jet Jaguar in a way. He's like that similar. Like really odd looking, and you expect that with Japanese films, but when in the film, I don't know. I just don't. It's like the Hot Toys figure they've just done. Everyone's going, oh my god, it's Vision. Oh my god, and they're having a bloody toss off over it and that. But I look at it and just go, nicely put together figure, but I just can't buy it. I just don't like the Vision at all. I don't like him. I just don't like him. They fucking murdered Jarvis for that tool. It's like I don't know. And another problem with Age of Ultron, I don't know if you found this as well, Rob. Well, you probably did. Was Ultron? I thought he was way too rushed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just wakes up and goes out to the world. There we are.
No, I just didn't like it. It's not a well-written film, and that's just the start of the problems with it. Like I said, there's too much money. The thing's overwritten to the point of just being a mess. It's just packed full of stuff and no characterization. It's just horrid.
I really have faith. I have a lot of faith in Joss Whedon. Okay, and I think it was I think it was the studios, man.
I'm sure it was. They were probably giving him notes left, right, and centre. This needs to be here. This needs to be in. You need to do this to set up, Iron Man 64, and you need to do this to set up, Thor 5, and blah 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 blah. And he's probably doing the best he can. I'll say it right now. I'm not a fan of Joss Whedon. That doesn't, I don't hate his work either. I was pleasantly surprised with the first one. I really liked the first one. The first one works really well. But the second one it's a mess. Give me a minute. I just got to move.
No problem. I just remember Helmy. There was an interview actually with him not a while ago now. He was on about Age of Ultron, and he looked absolutely exhausted. And he said a lot of the problems with that film was the studio. They constantly wanted him, do story arcs and go off and set up this plot line and set up this plot line, you know. And I think that was the problem. It wasn't. He was telling the next stories. It was too busy setting up the next film. You know what I mean? Instead of telling its own story. And I think that was the biggest problem with the film. I mean, it's like, you put that and Winter Soldier together. Winter Soldier shits on it by miles, you know. I mean, Winter Soldier, even though it's got its open ending and its fucking after credit scenes and all that crap, you can easily say that movie is a movie on its own. It doesn't rely on the Marvel Cinematic Universe to make it interesting. It's just one film, you know, on its own.
Yeah, I agree with that, but the problem is, because it is an Avengers movie where you have all these characters, you gotta do that, man, somehow. Like this you gotta do that. You have much more leeway, you might have much more freedom with the Captain America movie, for sure.
Yeah,
it's a tough gig. Like, seriously, how Joss Whedon managed to make the first one sing, that was amazing. And I think, especially with Disney, playing hard and stuff like that, I think there was a lot of, hand-holding. No, I wouldn't say hand-holding, but just making life really, really hard for Joss Whedon, which is why he's not coming back for another movie. He was done. He was done. He was done for a reason, man. For me, the best, I don't know why, but till now, the best comic book movie for me, and it stands out in my head, is The Dark Knight. That's it. Enough said. The Dark Knight. That's it. I have not seen another comic book movie that I've enjoyed or revere as much as The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is like up there, man. It's not even because Heath Ledger, died making a movie. Nothing to do with that. Like, as a movie, that movie was top for me.
I agree. It's one of the, definitely in top 5 easily for that one. But one for me will always be with me is the '89 Batman. I love that film. Everything about it. It's just Batman to me. It's the look, the feel. It was still grounded. Well, it had that gothic look, so it was like believable and dark and really gritty. But the scenery was like it was a comic book. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I know what you mean, because it feels more like a comic book kind of movie as opposed to a real life movie in The Dark Knight. But for me, the reason I didn't enjoy the Batman '89 as much is because Bruce Wayne didn't feel or acted like Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I liked Michael Keaton's Batman. I thought that the way he played him, the quirky, fucked up person that he is. I mean, he's not old. He's got this house. He's surrounded by. Oh God, what's he got there? But he's surrounded. He's got this house. He doesn't do anything with it. And like the bit where he's got Vicky Vale and he's sitting there, at the table at the other end, and he's like, I've never been in this room, and he's got all these like weird collections and stuff. I always imagine, especially even in the comics, he's got that weird personality. Bruce Wayne himself, as in to the public, is really the fake. When he puts on the mask, to me, he's the real person. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like I say, I really like how Christian Bale made him more of a playboy, because that's how he was supposed to be like. It's like he had to show that how different he was from Batman, and I didn't get that separation in the '89 movie. Like the real distinct separation between that. These are two completely different people. One is like this dark guy, and and this other guy is like a complete playboy who don't give two shits about anything and everything. So I like a huge distinction, which is why for me that was a better Batman movie. I like the distinction.
And that's it, it's all down to personal preference, and it's what you take from the film yourself, isn't it, personally, with a lot of these films. I know a lot of people, I'll tell you what, there was one that we didn't think would be, but it's like out of all the Iron Mans. We watched the first Iron Man, believe it or not, the first time we watched it, and we went, it was alright, give or take. You know, wasn't a terrible film. It was a good film, but it didn't blow my mind. And then we watched Iron Man 2, and I don't know if it was the time or when we saw it, but we absolutely loved it, Iron Man 2. And then when we watched Iron Man 3 on the cinema, we didn't enjoy it as much. But then when we rebought it on Blu-ray, we enjoyed it more. And then we rewatched Iron Man 1 again and enjoyed that more. And then Iron Man 2, we ended up enjoying the list. It's funny, you know, like how things over time, after you watch them so often and you pick things out of them, you appreciate the little things more. And as a fan, you pick up on all the different things, don't you? But sometimes it changes your opinion from the first experience. I mean, a lot of that like fan base was like Star Wars for me. The first hour or so of that film for me on my first viewing, so I went to see it 3 times. I don't know how many times you guys have seen it. So you see it twice, and how many times have you seen it, Rob?
Which one? The first one?
No, The Force Awakens. We're going to talk about Force Awakens.
I've only actually seen it once. I do want to see it again before it leaves the theatres. But yeah, go ahead, give us your thoughts on that, and then I'll chime in.
Well, my first viewing of the film, I enjoyed it. There's no doubt about it. I thought it was great. But the first half of the film for me, on the first time, I don't know why it was. It might have been because we waited a long time to get in, and the cinema wasn't exactly great at getting everything set up. But I felt that the first half of the film was very slow. I was like, come on, something happened, It just felt like it was, just going from, A to B. And I watched it, enjoyed it, came out, enjoyed it, but thought that about it. Watched it the second time, enjoyed it a lot more, and the first part didn't seem as long. So I did enjoy it, and I picked up on all the little details, like the jokes, like we'll take the junk or something like that they say at a certain point in the film about the Millennium Falcon, and things like just little Easter eggs and details that he put in the film. And then I went and watched it the third time and enjoyed it even more. Started picking up on the details, and there's a deeper meaning in the film that they put in that as a viewer usually you go in and you go, I want to see fights, I want to see badass villains, and I want to see all that sort of stuff. But you miss
Okay, two things that they're doing there, and this is really important. And from my perspective, I really enjoyed the film. I was really pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed it. That first hour, why you think it's slow the first time? Number one, what he's doing is building character. And number two, the other thing they're doing is what's called laying pipe. That is, he's setting up things at the beginning here in that first hour that are going to pay off down at the end. Okay, so that's what they're doing. He's building character and he's laying pipe in that first hour. So all that stuff can be paid off way down at the end here. And I think maybe one of the reasons it's been so popular is that it doesn't happen a lot anymore. You do get what you were just talking about. It's all bam, bam, bam. It's all explosions and mad villains right from the very get-go without that character building. And the reason people keep going back to great films is not because of the action so much, the action scenes. It's the character interaction that makes those films so strong. Why does The Empire Strikes Back work so well? It's not because of the action. It's because of the characters and the character interaction in that film. I mean, the lightsaber duel at the end of that film is just immense, and for me, it's the best of all the lightsaber duels in all of the films, because the character interaction between Vader and Luke in the freezing chamber and then underneath and on the gantry is just the character interaction is so rich. It's so rich. Irvin Kershner he fucking nails all that stuff. And that's what brings people back. Not the action, the character interaction.
And I say, when I saw the film, I appreciated that more. I think a lot of it was on my first showing. It was this. It was more of the like tension of in your head, you know, when you're excited and you're like, what's going to happen? Who's going to die? Who's this character? Who's that? And you're just so caught up in that. And then when you go back and watch it, it was like, I heard somebody online, it was quite interesting, they're saying about the spoilers. Someone said the film was better for them knowing the spoilers, if that makes any sense. It was like almost like, okay, I already know that. I know what's going to happen. Let's just watch it happen. And then you can appreciate what the film is, like you say, with the characters and all of that. So after that first showing, and I went back for the second. I mean, I already loved it the first time, but they just appreciated it that much more. And it was like Kylo Ren. I think one thing that's pissed me off online, seeing people, is everyone is shitbagging Kylo Ren, saying he's a pussy and he's weak and he's lame villain. And
I thought it was great. I thought it was great. And Adam Driver. I reckon Adam Driver stole the show for me. I thought he was fantastic. You know, he was really good.
He was fantastic. And I think the meaning to him as well. You know, people go, and he's not Vader. He's not Vader. I said exactly. The film is constantly throwing in your face. He's not Vader. He can't be Vader. He wants to be, but he just doesn't. He's not Vader. He can never be Vader. And that's his biggest, like, you know. That's what keeps him. He's torn. He wants to be dark, but the light side is always calling him. You know, and I like that. You know, like I say, and Adam, amazing actor, absolutely amazing.
That's what makes the character interesting. It's not that he's good or bad. He's a shades of grey character. You know,
yes.
Think back to the original trilogy. Who was the most popular of the good guys? Han Solo. Why was Han Solo the most popular? He's a shades of grey character. There's a little bit of good in him, there's a little bit of bad, and you know what? That's like everyone on this earth. There's a little bit of good in all of us, there's a little bit of bad. We're all shades of grey characters. That's why people, they latch onto those characters and they resonate so well. You think of his other character that's resonated through pop, Indiana Jones, another shades of grey character. You know?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know what you guys are talking about. The hero for Star Wars for me, the original trilogy, was Jabba the Hutt. Why are you laughing, man? You look how patient he was, man. He gave Han Solo so many chances again and again. You know, he knew how to treat the ladies, you know, and stuff like that. Shit, Jabba the Hutt was the hero for me.
But yeah, I totally agree. You know, Kylo Ren, I'd say, is a character. I mean, people go, "Oh, he's a pussy. He got beaten by a chick," and this, that, and the other. I'm like, well, you think about it. He got shot with a Wookiee bowcaster, fought one other person and beat them, and then I was saying this because my brother always says this about him. You know, oh, we got beaten and that. He was overpowering Rey up until a certain point. And then once that point, until he tells her, I can teach you the ways of the Force, is then when she closes her eyes, you know, that bit, and she sort of becomes Force sensitive, then she takes him down. But it's more of I thought it was more like a psychological thing with him, because he knew that she was very sensitive.
Honestly, I was completely okay with him being beaten, because like you say, you know, he was shot by that gun where, you know, when Chewie is shooting or when Han was shooting it, people are being blown away, you know, and stuff like that. And then this guy got, you know, shot in the midsection, and you know, he stood up, he was bleeding out, he was freezing cold, and when you're bleeding out and it's cold, dude, you feel even more weak. So this guy, it was like, and he still managed to beat Finn. And here's the thing, Finn was highly trained in combat as well, so he managed to beat Finn. Can you imagine the endurance he's had? So which is cool. The thing that I don't really like about Kylo Ren so much is the fact that he chose pussy fits. You know, when shit doesn't happen, you know, I don't know, because I love Darth Vader. I like how cool it is. If things don't work out, yeah, he gets pissed. But he doesn't get like Kylo Ren pissed where he's like, you know, bashing shit up and like, dude, chill, man.
Well, again, I thought that was great about him, because that was the difference between him and Vader. Vader, like you say, gets pissed, but he had that sense of control. Whereas Kylo Yet is not at that. He is the perfect example of what somebody said is Kylo Ren is what Anakin Skywalker should have been in the prequels. He is that person. He is inexperienced. He is very good at what he does. He's got the potential, but because of how he is and the way he thinks he's the lack of confidence, and he loses his shit every time something goes wrong. He's got a long way to go yet before he gets to that stage. I mean, what do you reckon?
I understand, but I just can't stand for a villain or supposed villain to throw pussy fits. That's all. That's just me. I like my villains to be badass, or even when they're not sure of themselves, not throw pussy fits. So that's the only thing. For me, that was the only thing that I didn't like about the entire movie. I love the movie, man. I love the movie. The only thing I didn't like, and that says a lot, for me to not like just that aspect about the movie. So it says a lot about the movie for me that it's that good. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, a lot of people like the film, but I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you've seen it online or whatever, but there are a few people that give the film shit, a lot of shit, and
so you know why they were giving it shit? You know why they were giving it shit? Actually, you know what? I have to revise my statement. The reason why I think Episode 7 is shit because we didn't have enough Jar Jar, man. We didn't even get a scene of Jar Jar Binks. What's up with that, man? What's up with that, man? I was hoping to see Jar Jar. There were all these theories about Jar Jar being there and shit like that. We didn't get a hint of Jar Jar, man.
I took my money box to the cinema and everything. I was expecting a fucking cameo and I was going to throw it up in the game. Like, but this did.
Not one scene of Jar Jar. What's up with that, man? I'm disappointed, man. No Jar Jar.
Out of 10.
Isn't his voice in there somewhere?
Jar Jar, I don't think so.
I think he's in there somewhere. I think they worked him in there somewhere. They put him in there somewhere.
Man.
I know Yoda's there, and Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan is in there, and Alec Guinness. All of them.
Hold on. I just got to say two things. And first is Mark is saying hi to you and Rob. He's watching the show and saying we're doing good job. Surprisingly, you're the one who's leading it, and not my pretty face. Second thing is I got to bounce in like 2 minutes, so you guys can continue or whatever, but I got to bounce. So it's been awesome chatting. Thanks for setting it up. It feels like forever, and it's good.
Yeah, it's forever.
Do you want to do the same thing next week?
Yeah, absolutely. We're up for it.
We can keep going for a little longer. We're Rob tonight, do you reckon? Just a few more topics to talk about. Do you reckon?
Yeah, we can keep going for a little longer.
Alright, man. That was awesome chatting with you guys. I'll listen to whatever you guys have to say later after this, and hopefully I'll catch you guys next week.
Yeah,
no problem.
Right,
nice to see you, homie.
Alright, you too, man. Alright, bye.
You bud. Yeah. But yeah, so thank you, Rob, for the kind words there. Yeah. Thank you very much. But I agree with you fully, Rob. I think Kylo Ren is a very good villain, or in other words, just a character. And I don't want people to take this the wrong way when I say this, because people say it and they go, "Oh no, you can't fucking say that. You're a fucking asshole," and all that. They go off and they take it the wrong way. But in a way, and I don't know if you agree with me, you may not, fair enough, but I think in a way, because of how he is, he's a more interesting character than Vader. In a sense, from the first film point of view, you get, remember A New Hope, you think, like you said, watch it as on its own. You didn't know a lot about Vader in that film, really, did you? He was just a big badass in a black suit.
Vader in that first film is just, he's like a henchman, essentially. He just follows Peter Cushing around in the film and sort of is his lapdog, and throws a few rebels around and cuts Obi-Wan in half, but doesn't do much more than that. It's in that second film that the character got fleshed out, and the reason that happened, of course, was between the first one and the second one, George Lucas decided to make Darth Vader, Luke's father. And I look at those, I mean, people talk about that being the best thing that Lucas ever did with Star Wars, and the worst thing at the same time. The best thing because it deepened the relationship between the two leads, obviously the bad, in Darth Vader, and the good in Luke. It deepens their relationship and gives a lot more meaning and pathos and empathy for all of what's going on between those two. But at the same time, the problem with it is it collapses the universe, and suddenly, the whole, you've got this grand universe to play in, and suddenly it all becomes about this Skywalker family, and everything else just falls by the wayside. So it has its positives and it has its negatives, but I enjoyed Kylo Ren. I really enjoyed the movie. Like I said, more than I expected to, because I'm not a hater of JJ, but I'm not a huge fan of his either. I think, he's so filmmaker. I don't think he's ever made anything like a classic piece of film or cinema. But this, for me, was the best thing he's done by a long, long way. I was really impressed.
Yeah. You can tell there's a lot of love and care that's gone into that film. That's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, he really did not. I think I've made the argument in some ways. I mean, I don't know. Again, if you agree with this, you may. That he played it a little safe with the sort of similarities in certain aspects.
Treading too closely to the original films in terms of the way that it's plotted and structured.
I mean, to me, it wasn't like, I get people like, oh my God, it was like A New Hope rebooted. And I'm like, well, yes and no. Yes, it's got its similarities for sure. There's some glaring ones, but it's not the exact same film. It is its own film in its own right, and it has its own, like you say, one thing that makes a film more than the big guns and the explosions and similar fucking plot lines as they go through is the characters. And as far as characters go, it was its own film for me.
Yes.
And it wasn't this constant calling back to the old for me. It was like Han Solo. He's in there. He's in the film. He's a part of the story. He ain't just, hey, I'm Harrison Ford. Hey, I'm in the film. Catch you later, and then walks off screen sort of thing. He's in the film. He's an important part of the film, and it's the film that was quite. It showed for me that it was about passing down the mantle. Passing from the old gen to the new. In the way that the film is as well. The film is a film that's still paying respect to the older generations of fans that have been there from the start, but also giving enough new to bring in the new fans and the new. Like, you got to admit, for some kids now, like younger kids that are going to go see this film, they're going to be like, "That was my film. That was A New Hope. That was that's my film that I'll never forget, and that'll be." The best Star Wars ever to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, whereas like A New Hope or Empire, which is for you, isn't it? Which is for a lot of people. It will always be that film that's like, nah, nothing touches that. That is that point in my life where I saw that film.
Yes.
But at the same time, which I agree with people is, and it goes for any film. I hate this when they compare a movie that came out for the first time ever in a new film or a sequel, is you will never ever get that same exact feeling of the film being released the first time. You can't replicate that no matter how fucking you could get the same film again. You can't do it.
Yeah, there was an article that Charlie posted on his Facebook that I saw. It was an article, a guy was writing about George Lucas as a director and a few bits and pieces. And there was one little bit of the article that he talked about where he talked about go back and watch the original Star Wars, the first one, and try and watch it in context of just that film by itself, without forgetting about all the merchandise, the sequels, the prequels, any of that. Just watch it. Try and watch it through the eyes of someone in 1977, and then you understand just how groundbreaking and influential and amazing that film really is. And it sort of I've thought about this before, and it would be like you could only watch movies or television pre like 1976 for about, if you did it for a month, just went cold turkey for a month and watched nothing made before 1977, and you can't watch anything modern, nothing, no sports, nothing.
Yeah.
Can't play any modern video games. Can't use your Xbox, PlayStation, none of that. You can't do any of that. And after a month of going cold turkey, put the original Star Wars on, and that might give people the kind of experience that people in 1977 might have had watching that original film. And it's, it is what it is. It's, you can't, like you said, you can't replicate that. It only happens, it's a bit sort of the way, in terms of like Titanic as well. So many things all the tumblers have to fall into place for a film to become the huge phenomenon that it does. Not just the film has to be good, but it has to come along just at the right time when the viewing public are ready for that type of film. That you can't control. That's just things just happen at the right time.
I think that that is very true. Like you say, films once done. So and especially in this day and age as well, it's very hard to come up with something original. There's a lot of copycats or inspired by. There's not a lot of like the original films now. But it's like
I think it says a lot that we're still living through what Lucas sort of started with Star Wars. We talk about the sort of the summer blockbusters that came along, Jaws, and then Star Wars, that really started this whole what we're going through with movies that have basically since then. So, and we're still going through it right now. What is that? 77 is 40 years ago, and we still are living through what Star Wars really and Jaws started together. That's the power of those sorts of things. Again, it's something that most people don't realise when they go and watch, Age of Ultron, which we were sort of mentioning earlier. Again, films like that, Lord of the Rings, all this kind of stuff wouldn't exist if, Star Wars hadn't been made all those years ago.
That's it. I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. Like I say, it's like Avatar. Avatar 1 was amazing for me. When I first saw it on the cinema, I was like, oh my fucking God! And there's everything like flying out at you with the 3D and everything. And I still love that film now. I still love that film. I think I know some people like to hate on it and they don't like it, fair enough. But for me, that film and the amount of depth, because I've got a book as well on, it's basically somewhere around here actually. Got it in one of the cupboards here, but it's about what James Cameron's written all the detail about the planet. He's written an entire language for them. He's got all the plant life, animal life, the people. They're like the people of their world, and all that. And that was the first time in a long time, like since say like you say Star Wars or someone like that, where someone went into that much depth and then also brought you that almost like the visuals as well at the same time. It wasn't one or the other. It was that both combined together. And I think it's like Avatar 2. I don't know if you know, but he's pushed that back. There's a reason for that.
Pushed back.
Yeah, and like I said, there's a good reason for that. And a second Avatar, regardless of how well it is, it will never be the same experience as Avatar 1, because, like I say, Avatar 1 kicked off 3D. It shows you what AI can do at its best. It
was the film that really reinvigorated. There'd been a few 3D films before Avatar, but it was the film that really reinvigorated it. And really made it immersive. And you know, Cameron treated the 3D different to other filmmakers. He used it a bit like, I don't know if you've seen Hitchcock's Dial M for Murder, which is a Hitchcock film. That's, you know, he shot that in 3D as well. But it's a film that he shoots as if it was a flat film. There was no 3D there. He just shoots it as a normal film, and the 3D is used to enhance that effect. That's what Cameron does with Avatar. He shoots it as a normal film, and then the 3D enhances that. Whereas a lot of people, a lot of filmmakers make the mistake of trying to use the 3D as some sort of gimmick. You know, having things pop out of the screen, and you know, I remember seeing, what was it, the Freddy film? That was a 3D film. It had the I can't remember which one it is. Maybe Freddy 5, I think it might have been, and it's got a chunk at the end that was in 3D. And you know, that as a gimmick, it doesn't really work. You know, gimmicks are hollow. They don't work. You know, Cameron he's wise enough. He's a cluey enough filmmaker to realise that, you know, that type of gimmick doesn't go over, it doesn't last. So just shoot it as a normal, you know, flat film, and let the 3D immerse the viewer in the world rather than use it as a gimmick. You know, that's how he uses it, and that's why a lot of people, you know, thought well of it when it came out. I mean, I generally agree with you. I don't think it's as bad a film as a lot of people rag on it now, but if you look at those type of stories like Star Wars, and if Mark's watching, Mark Riviera, hello, how do you, Dune as well, which is one of his favourite stories, one of his favourite books. We've talked about that. These sorts of films or novels, you know, Game of Thrones is another one that have very immersive worlds that are very complex, lots of characters, you know, terminology and things that are very new to the reader or the audience. Writers go out of their way to build a very common story, or a story that's very easy to follow. So people, while they're taking in all of this new information about the world and about the characters, about what's happening around them, they have this safety net of a very simple and well-trod story for the audience to follow. And again, that's Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. You know, the stories are timeless. It's the old hero's journey, you know, monomyth type of stuff. But that ambience or mise-en-scene is unique to that story. And if you have, it's a bit like when Lucas was scoring Star Wars, he went to John Williams and he said, you know, what kind of score should we apply to this film? Should we have a very atonal, dissonant type of score, which is very alien, so almost like a percussion-based score? I don't know if you know Planet of the Apes, the original Planet of the Apes. Jerry Goldsmith's score for that film is very otherworldly. It's a lot of sort of, and people would listen to it and they consider it a lot of white noise, a lot of percussion, doesn't sound Earth-like, it's unmelodic. But John Williams said to Lucas, no, we need to go with a very rich, melodic type of score, so people feel comfortable with the film, because they're seeing all these visuals that are very new to them. And if you combine this very new visual language with a very dissonant and atonal score, you're going to create a lot of confusion and maybe push your audience away. It's harder for them to get into the film, harder for them to get into the story, so to speak. You know, and that again, that goes without saying. Again, if you look at all of those types of films, again, Lord of the Rings, you know, all of them, even Avatar, the scores are very similar for, I'd suggest, very similar reasons.
You know what? That's a really good point, that what you just said about music and with it being a new thing. And sometimes, you know, when something's too strange or too weird, it puts you off. Yeah,
well, again, going back to that the original Planet of the Apes, the reason they went with the really odd or dissonant atonal score was they didn't want to give away the fact that they were on Earth. They wanted the audience to think they were in this really strange alien planet. So the score reflects the fact that they're on this strange alien planet. And it's only, again, at the end that you find out that everyone's on Earth.
Yeah.
But again, it fits the theme of the film. It's, we want the audience to feel confused and not knowing what is around the corner type of thing, rather than warm and familiar. It's, again, very different scores for very different purposes, but both equally as powerful in their own way.
Yeah, that's kind of like, in a way, I mean, I'm not saying that's the case because it's a fantastic film. But, Blade Runner, you think about that film. That film, when that was completely weird. It's on about cyborg, like basically like people that have been created, like to act like humans, like robots and stuff. And then it's got that weird sort of like you say, alien-like music to it. And quite interesting that because that didn't do well at all at the cinemas, did it? When that first came, it was a bomb.
Bit of a bomb. Yep. It was made for cost about $30 million to make in 1981, and did about $20 million at the US box office when it came out. It was a bit of a disaster. Yes, but that score was written by Vangelis, who's a Greek composer, and he's worked in a lot of different mediums. I love that film, love that score. It's beautiful, it's brilliant, and it's at the same time it's as equally sort of dissonant and atonal as something like Planet of the Apes, but it's equally as melodic and as beautiful as something like the Star Wars trilogy, that sort of corn gold, Americana type of feel, if you will. It's a wonderful. I mean, I was reading the other day that I don't know whether he's going to be asked to come because they're making supposedly Blade Runner 2. You know about that? They're doing another one, and they're thinking maybe they're tossing up people to bring back to do the score for Blade Runner 2, and I don't know if they're going to ask him to come back and do it because he's pretty old now, and he doesn't score a lot of films. He scored Chariots of Fire. That's the other one that he's really known for. And if you think, do you know the original, that Chariots of Fire theme where they're running along the beach and in slow motion? You would have heard it, believe me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If you know it, you would. If I played it for you, you'd know it. Believe me, it's very well-known tune. And the other two films that he's really well known for are another Ridley Scott film, 1492, which is probably the best thing about that film besides the photography is Vangelis's score. It's amazing. It's an absolutely brilliant score, and it's been used in adverts forever since it came out all over the world. It's again, if I played that score to you, you'd be able to pick out bits and pieces that you'd heard in other trailers or ads on TV and things. And the last thing he did was Oliver Stone's Alexander, that starred Colin Farrell and what was that? Who's that girl? Angelina Jolie and Anthony Hopkins. That was the last thing he did, and it's okay. It's okay in bits. Not as good as 1492 or Blade Runner or even Chariots of Fire, but it's not bad either. But he doesn't score much at all because he's very slow at producing his scores because he writes his scores, he plays all the instruments on them. He basically is a one-man band, but that means he's very slow, and that's probably the reason he doesn't do much.
Yeah, like I say,
yeah, I like him slow. Yeah.
Yeah, doing everything yourself, it's going to slow you down a bit, and it's going to, put a lot of work, especially in this day and age, how quick people are pumping out movies left, right, and centre.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no waiting or taking time anymore. It's like Marvel films or Star Wars. They've already got years down the track. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
you know, his work is, I guess, iconic in a way because it is fairly unique. You know, I mean, there aren't a lot of scores out there that sound like Blade Runner, are there? Jesus. Yeah.
I love the Blade Runner soundtrack. It's very, very cool.
Yes, it's fantastic.
You know, it's just like I say, it's not it sounds like it.
Yeah. I wish we got a proper release of that score, the whole thing. You know, there's been so many bootlegs over the years, and none of them are complete, or none of them have really good sound quality. You know, they put out there was a 3-disc release a couple of years ago that was a combination of the original soundtrack and bits and pieces that he composed 20 years later, and some other bits that were unreleased, but even that's not complete. I don't think we'll ever get a proper release of Blade Runner.
I'm looking on YouTube for it, the soundtrack, just to see, you know, because that, you know, I don't know if I've got it on iTunes. I don't remember if I was looking for it and they didn't have it. YouTube, and like you say, they have some there or some similar, but they just, as you say, in the film, there's something about this. There's a unique sound, and when you listen to it, when these like say, or whatever they are, or they're just recording it, I don't know. They just don't sound like
it's either some of the, for example, some of the tracks on the original album are different takes. They're not the takes that were used in the film, and they're slightly different mixes of the tracks that were used in the film. So you know, you get this slightly, and that all of the releases of that soundtrack have been like that. They've been slightly different takes or versions of what you get in the released film, and that's what I think. You know, people just can't abide sort of those slight differences. But this is what he wants. This is what Vangelis wants. He has control over his work enough to say, I want this take and I want this version of this track included on the soundtrack album. He sees it as a different beast to the in the film. He considers the score one thing, but on CD or vinyl, when it comes out, or iTunes, he sees the score as a totally separate entity that should be presented in a separate way. You know? Yeah. People want this, but he's different than that.
Sense. I think a lot of these, you know, filmmakers and people who compose all this music, their head is in a different place. You know, like to come up with their idea, come up with. They've got there's got to be, haven't they? They've got to be thinking differently to everybody else to get the sort of, you know, genius. You know, I mean, there's so many films. If you'd have told somebody, "Oh, this plot," they'd go, "Oh, you crackers, mate! Who would want to watch a film like that?" And then they make it. It's amazing, you know.
Well, I think part of the issue is, you know, with modern filmmakers, especially, they're not well read. They're not widely read. As you know, they don't read a lot of literature because they grow up watching TV now and DVDs and, you know, sort of television, and they're not widely read. So they're not really hot on story, and at the same time, they don't know music either. Either they're not musicians themselves, or again, they don't listen widely to what's out there in terms of music, you know, both, you know, traditional sort of classical music and more Baroque kind of stuff. And that's why you get these very cookie cutter scores that can be just copy and pasted into film after film after film, because the people making them they don't have any of that background. That background knowledge they don't have, or they don't have any training in the field, so they don't really know what to look for. You know, I mean, someone like, for example, Spielberg, is what does he play? I think it's a clarinet or something, and he plays it well enough to play sort of semi-professionally. I mean, he's in. I think on some of the cues for Close Encounters, he's actually playing in the orchestra for some of those cues. I think I read somewhere. So I mean, Spielberg has a very musical background.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I think it would be helpful, but it's something that got lost along the way. Yeah, most of them. You know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying there. You know, and I think a lot of it as well. Like you're going on about back to classics. I think two people are. It's sort of a thing with like Star Wars, except Star Wars where it's one of the occasions where if you do it right and you do enough new, you can pull it off. But I think a lot of films these days are too busy, and a lot of directors as well, too busy trying to recapture what was then and what was then, instead of coming up with something new and genius now. If you get what I'm saying, I think a lot of people, like I say, at the time, like I say, your Spielbergs, your Ridley Scotts, you know, or John Carpenter's another one, which I really like.
Yes. Well, again, he's a trained musician. Yeah, he composes and plays a lot of his own scores, doesn't he? Yeah. There you go. And, perfect example.
Exactly, and you know,
or someone like let's even go more baroque. Someone like Woody Allen.
Yeah.
You know, he's a jazz musician, and again plays regularly, weekly.
Yeah. Yeah, there's, like I say, there's lots, you know, and they came up with something new in their time. They thought, what can I do that's new? They never worried about back then was, I remember in this old film where they did this and this was cool. Why don't we do that and try and do it slightly better or something like that? They would have just gone, hey, this is my story, this is my plot, let's do it. You know, this is my score. Let's do it. I mean, like I said, there's no film. I mean, no film for me that tops the awesomeness and the creepiness, and it still holds up today better than The Thing for me.
Yeah.
That film is a freaking masterpiece. And I watched the new one, the prequel one, and I enjoyed it. I'll be honest, I actually thought it was very well done. Everyone was superb, and actor-wise, it was. I couldn't have any complaints, but it just didn't have that same suspense, creepiness to the first one. I mean, the one that always used to, who used to creep me out, and my little brother, he's 13 now, and not long ago we did actually watch it, and it freaks him out. It's a bit. Sometimes he has to remove himself from the room because it just freaks him out that much. Dog, the way the dog sort of stares in those scenes, and then the music, and it's like that. There's nothing that's been done. But I think for me, like horror or sci-fi, whatever you want to call The Thing.
You know what's interesting? The Thing and Blade Runner came out in the same year, and both of them were bombs.
Crazy, isn't it?
And both of them got at the time pretty average write-ups, pretty average reviews, and it's only years and years since that both films have really been reevaluated, and people now consider them to be the classic films that they are. Very interesting. You know what was the big film of that year?
What?
Have a guess. It was another film starring an alien.
Oh, wasn't.
That gives you a big clue. And he wanted to phone home.
E.T. Really? Is that the other one?
Yeah. Yes. I can't remember when they came out in relation to E.T. I think they were all summer movies. I remember that. But Blade Runner bombed, and Thing bombed as well. And E.T. went crazy, berserk.
And again, that goes back to saying about familiarity. With music.
Right. That's right. You think of which of those three films is the most familiar? It's easiest to digest is E.T. by far.
Oh, very true. I mean, it's a classic, that film. But yeah, it is interesting you say that, and then you piece it together, and what people have said. John Williams, he said about that. I mean, it all links in there if you think about it. A lot of people, it's a true statement. People don't like change with things sometimes. Too much change is enough to go, nah, don't like this. I mean, in a way, Star Wars prequels, as much as like I know people, especially Phantom Menace, hate Phantom Menace. I didn't mind Attack of the Clones, and I quite liked actually Revenge of the Sith. I thought out of them that was pretty well made. I liked the Dark Tourney went with, but they were very different to the original. That Star Wars and Star Wars back where I said the original, two different.
I think in years to come, people will go back to those prequels and reevaluate them. I don't think people will think them better movies, but people will come to appreciate them more, I think, because they will be unique. I think what we'll get with Disney is a lot of cookie cutter. I think I've just frozen here. We'll get a lot of cookie cutter type of Star Wars films that will fit a mold very definitively, and the more of those that we get, the more unique and original those prequels, as bad as they are going to seem. And that's, I think, over time, people will come back to those prequels and go, while they're not very good films, at least Lucas was trying to maybe bring something new to the table, even though they do reuse a lot of the same tropes as the original trilogy in a way. I don't know. That's just I'm predicting into the future. We'll see what happens. I could be wrong. Probably will be, but who knows? We'll find out in 50 years.
I think, out of all the prequels, there's good things to take from them. Like Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. I love his Obi-Wan. I don't know why. I just love his Obi-Wan. To me, him and Alec Guinness, like you can see sort of like, okay, this is what he was when he was younger, and this is him old, and then there's rumours going around that there's going to be an Obi-Wan anthology film, and Ewan McGregor's coming back to play that role. And if they do that, yes, that's the film I'll be looking. I don't give a Rogue One, great. We all know how it ends. Han Solo thing. I mean, if they get that dude from Fantastic Four to play, you can. There's no way in hell.
I don't like the idea of that Han Solo movie. That sort of no. I think leave that alone. I do like the idea of the Obi-Wan movie though. That I would be interested in. Han Solo, not really, but the Obi-Wan, I'd be interested in that. I reckon you could tell a pretty good story around that, around him.
Ewan McGregor, I don't know. I mean, I think Ewan McGregor is a fantastic actor as well. And I thought in the prequels he was one of the strong points of the films. He was clearly when you put Hayden Christensen next to Ewan McGregor, there's a different class of acting. Ewan McGregor is like another league. And for me, like I say, he will always be an Obi-Wan to me. That's just personal. And again, my dad actually likes Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. He thinks he's awesome.
I really like Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. He's probably the best thing about all three movies. I mean, Liam Neeson's good in the first one, directing himself. And then in the second and third, when Ewan McGregor gets to do a little bit more, I think he's fine. Like I said, he's probably the best thing about the three films, to be brutally honest.
Yeah.
And probably bring back, what was his, Ian McDiarmid to play the Emperor. Those two were two good things about the films.
Yeah. And, I liked liked him a lot in that role, and if the plot is how they're saying it's going to go, and it's going to be like, yeah, they're saying it's going to be set after the Revenge of the Sith and in between A New Hope, so where he's still pretty young, and it's like the Empire is sort of a couple of years, and he's going into hiding. But there's mentions in A New Hope that people are wary of his presence. You know, like they're aware, they know who he is. He's got like a bit of a myth going on. You know, he's a bit of a legend. So I'd rather see that than anything else. Rogue One's going to suffer the same syndrome as the prequels. Yeah, great. You're showing us how it's done, but we all know how it ends. So the suspense is gone. You know, I'm like, you're going to get it in the end, regardless. You know, and if it means they have to fail to get 3 movies, if they have to fail twice to get a 3rd film and then finally do it, they'll probably do it. But you know how it's going
to. Let's go back to, this is what I was talking about earlier with the idea of turning Vader into Luke's father between, you know, New Hope and Empire. It just collapsed everything in terms of the story in Star Wars. It went from being like a universal thing to being this just about, and Rogue One is a really good example of that. Here we have a whole universe to play in with all the multitude of stories that you could take out of that, and you know, we're going back to something that we really don't need to know. We don't need to watch this. It's told to the audience in the opening crawl of the opening film. Leave it at that, and you know, try and do something new and unique. You know, it's I don't know.
It's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like doing a prequel to Force Awakens, and all like meanwhile, it's like a meanwhile film where Luke Skywalker's at the Jedi, like in the old Jedi place, and he's just sitting there for the entire film, you know, or he's climbing, he's doing it, you know, it's just shit, really. You see,
they're supposed to be having a Vader cameo in that film, isn't he? He's supposed to turn up for, I don't know, a scene or 2 or whatever. He'll probably turn up at the end. Just so everyone can go, oh, there's Darth Vader again on the big screen. But again, it's this whole idea of, you know, there's only so much juice you can squeeze out of a lemon before it runs dry, and once it's run dry, there ain't no more. You know, it's gone. I'd rather they leave that backstory stuff alone and go off and tell some news stories in some other corner of the galaxy. Surely there must be something else they can, you know, another story they can tell.
I'd like to see a film. I mean, I don't know if you ever heard of the video game. It's not the same thing. It's about the clones, obviously, when they were good and they were working with Jedi, called Republic Commando. It's a game basically a squadron of clones. They're genetically different to the other clones. They can actually think for themselves, and they're not just wired just to kill. They're very different in their own way. Each character is different, and it was a clever concept. And they did a series of books, if I'm correct. And throughout those books, they pretty much show that the character who you played as in the game didn't like Palpatine, and he was under a different head. So I think it was Mace Windu who was his actual person in charge. And then the next part of the story is it's like the crossover between when they go from the Republic to the Empire, and they get changed into being the Imperial Commandos, and it's about them. The whole idea, there's a concept going around anyway, which I quite like the idea of, is they are sent on missions, not told what's to go on, and they're told that they're going to kill traitors of the Republic or whatever. They're sent onto these missions, and then the twist of it is they don't know what they realise that, hey, it's a Jedi, and they don't know how to feel about it, and they're having a bit of a, you know, the morals, you know, conflicting in that. And obviously there'll be some characters that are loyal to the Republic or Empire, and there's other characters that are sort of like, no, because they are unique clones, that are like, no, I don't agree with this, I'm going to go off, you know, or I'm going to try and, you know, bend the rules. And there's just some interesting topics about them, like actually going to the Emperor and asking if they can just capture the the people and not kill them, or or even lying and letting them go, saying they're going in, and then that they got away, and letting them roam free. And I thought that was an interesting concept. Can you imagine that? Because if you think about it, they're working for the Empire, but they don't want it. That would be an interesting story. I mean, it's like the thing with Force Awakens. I think the genius of that film was that it humanized the Stormtroopers. They weren't just, people in suits that were cannon fodder. They were people,
Yes.
And I enjoyed that more about them. It's like they give them more personality other than just running around with the fucking helmet stuck to the shot.
That's an idea that sort of JJ ran with Finn. The idea of the stormtrooper with the man behind the mask kind of thing. Let's take the mask off and see what's underneath kind of thing. So absolutely, you're tapping into that sort of same idea. But again, there's so many stories you could tell. You can do nearly anything, but these films are so expensive that Disney are going to be very, very protective of this franchise. The chances of us seeing anything like that are probably less than zero, which is unfortunate, but there you go.
But I know, I'd like to see that though, if someone did, or even just like an animated film or something. The best Star Wars series for me, I don't know if you ever saw it, it was the prequels. It was the Jenny Tartakovsky series. And it was very stylized cartoon with the clones, and it was very it was cartoon drawn, and they did like things with General Grievous where when he's like cutting him, it like cuts to a camera angle where you just see him cut up like the clones, and uber stylized. Now that's what you want to see, because it made everybody look a badass. Like Mace Windu took on an entire droid army with his bare fists, like punching them. That is cool. That's what shows a Jedi. And then you get to the films, and you're like, oh, this fucking So that would be nice. But so I don't know what you want to do now, Rob. Do you want to wrap it up for this week?
Yeah, we might wrap it up and we'll see if we can do it again next week. I think it's been pretty good so far. Maybe we can get a few more on next week.
Fingers crossed. I mean, I hope people like this, and I hope it uploads to YouTube, please, for God's sake.
No, it is. I have checked. It is uploading. So, and someone is watching. So I don't know who that nutcase is, but someone is watching. Maybe it's Mark. I don't know. Hello, Mark.
Who you calling nutcase?
The people on this show and the people watching this show. That's all.
It's been great chatting, and like I say, thanks for coming on. And also, like I say, you need to give Rob a round of applause, because he was also here to help me get this back up and running again while Charlie's busy at the moment. So thank you, Rob.
The search for Bruce Campbell's chin will continue next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Obi-Wan Kenobi's gone into hiding. Where the fuck is he?
Who knows where he is? That's right.
All right then. Well, thank you for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll talk you through the week then.
Will do. All right.
See you, mate.